information is given. Like, here you got our president just being basically like a prick. The way he fucking disseminates this shit.
Yeah, but he takes pride in it, right? That's like part of who he is.
He's insane.
It's fine
He's a
if you're a
narcissist.
regular guy.
He's
See,
what?
if you're a regular guy and you're a media figure, like some, fucking, who's the guy from American Idol? What's that guy's name? That mean guy?
Simon Cowell.
Simon, that guy. Yeah, like he's a dick. Everybody knows he's a dick. Like, that's his thing.
It's his brand.
Yeah.
Now.
That was Trump's brand. You're fired. That was his brand.
Yeah.
So it's reinforced with public acceptance. It was reinforced with attention. It was reinforced with, like, he knew that is what got him the credit that he so gravely desired. And so then that allowed him to run for president, right? He runs for president coming off of a reality show. They canceled his fucking reality show while he was running for president. Remember?
Did they? I thought Schwarzenegger took it over.
No, they canceled it because he was running for president. He was saying things about Mexicans. Then Schwarzenegger took it over, but they fired him, I should say, instead of canceled it. But they fired him. NBC fired him from the show because of the things that he was saying about Mexicans, and that's really where it all came from. So he was a fucking, literally an on-TV reality star on a shitty game show, and then from there goes on to be president. So that style of he's not going to like have this moment of reflection at 70 years old where he realizes this has all been a terrible, like, I have this amazing responsibility now. I'm in charge of the greatest nuclear.
You think he would?
Yeah, you think he would. But why would he? Because he's just a person. I think we have these narratives in our head that these people become like heroes, that a president is something different than a person.
Yeah. Well, I would just think, too, that yeah, I get who he is, but it's like, God damn it. Don't you get also influenced and formed by the weight of the job? Like,
yes,
you do have, and this is the scary part, you do have a nuclear arsenal at your disposal, and it is fucking dangerous because, you're dealing with another fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
More crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they found each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of a love story.
Yeah, well, in a way, there's an argument, and this is the argument, that a guy like Trump is actually good in this situation because a guy who is too diplomatic and it would allow this guy to develop real long-range nuclear capabilities, that it would be extremely dangerous. And that with a guy who's harassing him and fucking with him like the way Trump does, and then you allow the military to do something to stop this guy from developing these long-range nuclear capabilities, that this would be better than having some very wishy-washy president who put severe restrictions on the military and didn't allow them to stop this guy. We would all like to think that the world is like we are here. We are here in the United States, for the most part, pretty safe, not a bad place to be. Most neighborhoods, even in bad neighborhoods, most of the time it's not that bad. So occasionally bad shit happens. Regularly bad shit happens, but not like it happens in the Congo. Not like it happens in Syria right now. Not like Aleppo. Not like all these other parts of the world that are in constant turmoil. Libya. Go to Libya right now. It's fucking chaos. It's a failed state. It's an ISIS hotbed, right? There's parts of the world that are just fucked. And if you're not the kind of person that is willing to do something to protect the rest of the people from getting involved in the kind of chaos that's in those parts of the world, that stuff can leak over. Bad people can come in to your neck of the woods and start treating where you live exactly how they treat Syria, exactly how they treat the Congo. It's totally possible.
Absolutely. But I'm a believer that if this bad stuff, and it is what you're talking about, what you mentioned, is horrific stuff. Like if you go in, I mean, Aleppo, if you've seen pictures of it, it literally is a wasteland now.
It has been a lot of parts
bombed out.
Yeah.
And the suffering that those people have endured, and the amount of refugees in the world has gone up and up and up. To me, I don't think you can isolate that. I really don't. I think that has to come back to roost in some ways, and it does. I mean, it's kind of random incidents of terrorism. In other words, what I'm saying is that we have to have more of a like unified worldview, like
Yes.
seriously have a compassion for. I mean, I know this guy was kind of cliche,
we certainly do.
But for everybody, like, oh no, fuck Syria, Libya, Iraq, they're bad people. No, because if the world is kind of a small place, especially with technology these days, and if there are thousands and thousands of refugees because of bombings, people. They seek revenge. They grow up in hate. They grow up bad.
Of course, but what are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm saying that does affect us. Like you originally said, well, we live in a nice place where it is kind of basically okay. And I say that I don't know how long that can exist with all of the turmoil.
What I'm saying is, if you're living in the United States and you're living in a fairly peaceful place, you have to take into consideration that there are people out there like Kim Jong-un who do regularly kill their citizens, who regularly kills people who are insubordinate, who regularly kills anyone who thinks who would challenge him in any way. And then he has nuclear powers, and he is going to do something. And it's entirely possible that he could launch a missile. He's so fucking crazy, it's entirely possible that he could do it in some sort of a suicide mission. And then he could launch a nuclear strike on the United States in a suicide mission if he gets the capabilities. Some people, it really depends entirely on how that's managed. But there are people that would manage that incorrectly, and he could get to the point where he has those nuclear capabilities, and he could launch, and he could do something. That has to be taken into consideration. We've done it. We did it to Hiroshima. We did it to Nagasaki. We literally dropped indiscriminate bombs on entire cities. So
that's unbelievable, by the way.
It's crazy, and it just happened. Just happened 100 years ago, not even, right?
Isn't it interesting how most people don't have a sense of time and history?
80 fucking years is nothing.
That's nothing.
Nothing.
That's nothing. But the modern day person is like, you know what a long time is? 45 minutes ago on my Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Like, that's 45 minutes ago. That's
old
news.
Someone gives you an article, they send you an article, like, bro, it's from 2013.
Yes.
Like, whoa, that's 4 years ago is nothing?
I get caught up in that shit. Like I love, you know what I love watching documentaries is because it reminds me, holy fuck, yes, a lot of this same shit went down in 1960. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Like demonstrations, Nixon was in power, we had Vietnam going on, you know what I mean?
I think there's always been a problem with people feeling like they're represented and communication. Those two problems have always existed. It's just they exist today in a different way. We almost have like too much communication.
Well, that's what I mean, too much information.
A little bit, yeah, for sure. And I think you're definitely right that we have to think of the whole world as being like one thing instead of like walling things off. But the problem is when you have
travel
someone,
all over, right?
Yes, but
do you get a little scared? I mean, I get
sometimes.
Like, fuck.
But you have someone who's a military dictator like Kim Jong-un. That's a totally different situation. Like he won't let the people live. He shoots them when they try to leave. Like this is a very, very bad thing to be seeing in 2017. That's entirely different than someone who's a Syrian refugee who, those people are fleeing for their lives, and obviously they're in incredibly hostile environments and situations. But there are substantial parts of the world that welcome those people and want those people to have an opportunity to get away from what they're experiencing. There's a lot of people in this country that argue for bringing them over here and helping those people. So I think our compassion is still there, but people don't want to be unsafe themselves. I think I think we will eventually, these boundaries will become more and more preposterous. These lines in the ground that we've drawn, where we've decided like this is, we are Canada and we are against you, America, and you're connected to us by the same dirt. Like we're tribes, and the tribes, we're tribe Earth, okay? And I think once we realize that, we'll be a lot better off. But then we're going to have to really understand the allocation of resources.
Yes. Are you talking about also distribution of wealth, which is kind of another way to put allocation of resources.
Well, I'm talking about fixing places where there's no hope. You know, I mean, you could say that it's allocation of wealth. Like one of the things you think about, like when like Halliburton got these no bid deals to go into Iraq and build these things, and so, why can't someone get the same sort of contracts to go in and establish places like in the United States, like establish community centers in impoverished neighborhoods, do the same thing to Guadalajara, go into Tijuana and try to like set up.
And here's the answer. I think, I mean, this is my like not trip, but like my bent is like, there is just like what you're talking about, community building, you know, going into places, setting up education centers. It doesn't seem to be a priority when.
Well, it's not profitable.
Yes.
Right. But
war
yeah,
is a huge profitable business.
But rebuilding is profitable. That's what I'm saying. So like Halliburton is rebuilding, and that rebuilding is profitable.
And what do you need to rebuild? You need to fucking knock it down first, right? And
that's weird, right? 'Cause things are already knocked down, but rebuilding them is not profitable.
What do you mean?
Well, parts of the world are already fucked, but going in them and rebuilding, you know, going to impoverished parts of Ecuador and rebuilding that and try to, you know, make it so that these people have opportunities to advance their lives and take care of their families, and there's no money in that.
Why isn't there money in that?
I don't know. What's weird that that everything is about where there's money, you know, and that, like, look at how much
that's the problem.
Look at China, right? And look at how much their way of life has improved since capitalism's sort of been installed. Like the amount of people that are in poverty in China, I was just reading this, like the staggering change since what's close to capitalism. I mean, it's capitalism, but they have a lot more restrictions on what they're allowed to do and not do. You know, in China, they still can't research Tiananmen Square.
Research it?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, you can't find out about it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I feel like when you do that to people, you know, if you say to people, look, you can't look into that, isn't there immediately like, I don't trust you? Like, it's immediate.
But it's a dictatorship, you know, and that's the crazy thing about Kim Jong-un. That's the crazy thing about China. Anytime you're in a situation where you have a dictatorship, you have a group or a person who's controlling the information that gets distributed to the people, and then the people are under the thumb of this person. And then when this person says something, that thing is the law. That is one of the scariest things about Trump, is that what essentially Trump is doing is treating his word as law.
Yeah.
And saying that everyone else is fake news and they're all liars, and everyone who opposes him, they cannot have a reasonable opposition of him. Any opposition must be chastised.
If he wasn't within our system, he'd be a fucking dictator. I mean, he is that personality.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, he's in this thing with the FBI. You know about this, right? Where they're investigating him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure where it's at. He's talking about firing fucking
Mueller. Yeah.
Mueller.
Is he talking about him still?
I'm not sure. I think he knows, and the people around him know that, dude, you cannot do that, because I think I think you're going to fuck with the wrong people there. Like, he still can fuck with the wrong people within this country.
Well, he's already fucked with the wrong people. He's fucked with the intelligence community. I mean, he's fucked with the CIA and the FBI, and they're all like, Jesus Christ, this guy. But here's the thing.
I think that's dangerous for him.
It is, certainly. But not as dangerous as it was in the 60s. It's harder to kill a president today. But the FBI just stopped a terrorist attack in San Francisco. Yes. You don't hear about it because the president hasn't talked about it, and the news has talked about it a little bit.
What happened?
There was a planned ISIS terror attack at one of the piers in San Francisco, and this guy who is a former soldier was planning it and reached out to ISIS and was trying to do it. And
former U.S. soldier?
Yes, U.S. soldier.
Look at that.
Yeah. Well, you know, you get crazy on all sides.
But that's what I mean about, you know, when there is bad conditions all over the world, it filters. And that's one way, you know? Yeah,
but this is a guy who was an American citizen that wanted to attack random American civilians. You know, this is a crazy person.
Oh.
This is a person who had blown a fuse and was just going to do this for ISIS and was doing it publicly on Facebook was reaching out to these people. So he had a blown fuse for sure. He didn't understand what he was doing, or understand that obviously people are going to be paying attention to these fucking ISIS pages.
Isn't it wild that people publicly put this shit out on Facebook?
It's wild, but it's not wild. I mean, there's a lot of dull minds out there. But anyway, the point is that the FBI thwarted this attack. The president hasn't said a goddamn word about it. He's praising these firefighters.
Yeah.
Doing an amazing job, but he's not saying anything about
I wonder
the FBI.
I wonder if it's because he wants everybody to think, hey, look, there's no terrorist activity going on in
No,
our
he doesn't want to
country.
praise the FBI.
Well, that's fucked up.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think he's against
because
the
he's
FBI.
getting investigated.
Yeah, because he has a vendetta against the FBI. He's at war with the FBI. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is a crazy situation where someone of this mindset is running the country, and some people love it. They love it. MAGA. We're gonna get things done. Look at the joblessness rate is down. Unemployment is down. There's all this good stuff is happening. The stock market is hitting record highs.
What's hilarious about when they talk about the stock market hitting record highs, first of all, I think it's a fact that 50% of America is in poverty. 50.